Hi everyone, it's Josh, your host for Recovery Talks 24/7, and we are the proud. We have an amazing sponsor called the Money Wellness, and they sponsor this podcast. Now, Money Wellness, they support you in any of your debt that you struggle with. You are able to give them a call. The contact details are on my page, so if ever you are struggling, definitely give them a call because they supported me every step of the way. I was in so much debt, and I managed to get in contact with them. I took my head out of the sand, and I plucked up some courage to give them a call, and it was the best decision I ever made. So I definitely will recommend to anyone that is struggling to get in contact with Money Wellness. So today we have Paul Harold with us today, and Paul has got an amazing story to share with us about his life story through addiction, and his life story of how he came out of that addiction and what he's doing now for his life. We did have a brief chat beforehand before this was going to be kicking off, and it was just phenomenal to hear the passion that he has. And I just asked him the question. I was like, Paul, would you like to come on my podcast? And here he is today to come on my podcast and to share a bit of strength and hope. So Paul, how are you keeping? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. I'm good. Just before we start, I just wanted to show that.
Wow, that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Congratulations. Clean and serene for 6 months. That is big stuff, Paul.
Yeah. So I'm
That
feeling
is really
blessed right now.
awesome. That is big stuff, big positive stuff. And look where we are today. You know, you're able to come into the podcast and to share your story, which will be a blessing to somebody that may be sitting at home and will definitely relate with what you have to share. So without further ado, Paul, because I don't want to do much talking, I would rather you do the talking because I want to hear your story. So can you just describe, the beginning of your journey of addiction and where it all happened? How did it happen?
Okay, so probably like most addicts, discovered alcohol at a very young age, probably 14, 15, and just you know um, didn't really fit in with people. There was the cool kids, the sport kids, the bad man, whatever you want to say, and I was trying to fit into one of those groups and never really fitted into any of them. Discovered alcohol, and it made me feel better. Thought it was funny, talk to girls easier, the whole stupid things that go through your head. Um, sort of hanging around with people, started smoking weed and just drinking more and more heavily. Didn't recognize that it was a problem. Because you think from 15 going on, I don't even remember a birthday. Um, I, I had my first sober birthday in January, 10th, 49. It's the only one I can remember. Do you know what I mean? All the others have just been a haze of drunkenness. Um, and that's, the sad reality of it all. You know, going out places, was always drinking, never really went anywhere. Um, if drink wasn't involved, and it's just a simple thing like going to, um, you know, my friends have kids and, you go to that birthday party, but I still make sure I take a bottle of whiskey. I go to many of my friends' houses and I was leaving bottles of whiskey. So whenever I was going to someone's house, I always knew I'd have a drink. Um, and, the problem is, I would say I class myself as a lucky alcoholic because I was never ill. I never took any time off work. I've had the same job for 15 years. And, I would binge drink, from, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'd stop. And then, unless I had a bad day, which was easy to conjure up, I might have the odd drink during the week. But 9 times out of 10, it was, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just binge drink. And then if I was on holiday, that was it. It was just 7 days a week of drinking. And, I don't even think, all the holidays that I've had, um, and doing sightseeing and looking at different places, I couldn't tell you anything other, that I could really remember about these places that I went to because alcohol took such a massive toll on my life. Friends and family, um, me not being present, really hurts when I think about it. I've got a mum that's, suffers with arthritis, and I'm ashamed of not being there for her, to be quite honest, because I'm aware of the situations. Do you know what I mean? And I know what's going on. But all that I ever focused on was having a drink. And I get up in the morning, and when I have these urges that I was getting, it would be sort of, it's just something in the back of my head would just be banging away saying, listen, have a drink. And I'd think, nah, don't have a drink. And then it'd be, no, have a drink. No, don't have a drink. And I'd be fighting with myself. And, I'd go till 11 o'clock, which was, a decent time to have a drink. Uh, and then that would be it. That would be it. It'd just be curtains, start having a drink. And I'd tell myself, I'm only going to have one, I'm only going to have two. I just want to get wavy. I don't want to go mad. Do you know what I mean? Then I just wake up the next day, I'd blacked out. I don't know. It's ruined the relationship I have with my wife. We're now separated. I can't blame her. I don't hold no ill will towards her about that, because at the end of the day, she put up with a lot. I think about that when I think, you know, she's having bad days at work and she wants to have a conversation with me about work, and I'm not present. I'm just thinking I want to have a drink. You know, there's no ill will in it from my side. I was just overtaken by this addiction to drink. Um, and obviously, what came with that sometimes would be cocaine, because I knew if I had cocaine, it would let me drink more. Um, but 9 times out of 10, it was just always the alcohol. The alcohol just overwhelmed me. Never saw it, didn't see it coming. Um, and I guess, you know, to fast forward with the story, I guess it took her leaving me. I always knew in the back of my mind I had an issue, but it's easy to brush that off, and somehow people will probably, who haven't got addictions, will look at this and think, what the hell are you talking about, right? But my addiction would say to me, it's just normal, mate. Look, you're getting up, you're going to work, you're paying your bills, you drive a car, you go on holidays. I'm not, any of the stereotypes that people want to paint about you. If I told my manager at work about it, and he couldn't believe it. He was like, no way, you've never had any time off work. You don't come in smelling of booze. There's nothing. You perform all the time. And, I was, I say lucky. Maybe I'm unlucky, because maybe if there was something that was happening that would say, oh, you didn't pay your bills today, or something like that, there might have been something to make me think more about it. But the last year, um, work wanted me to go on a course, which I knew that there's no way that I could drink and do this course. So I was already in my mind thinking I need to try and do something about it. But I just kept doing this thing like, oh yeah, I'll do it in a couple of weeks, or I'll do it in a couple of months. You know what I mean? I'll get round to it. I'm
Yeah.
going to. And that time never came, and then I fooled myself sort of at Christmas. I was saying, yeah, I'm definitely going to, like, get on top of this at Christmas. And then I had this thing in my head, well, there's like 5 more days left, man. I'm going to smash this. I'll crack it out. So what do? I'm drinking. Uh, and I went round to my cousin's house. I'd had a sort of the 3 days in between Christmas, I had to go into work. So I got into work and I'd already told myself I had a bad day, so I've got to have a drink. I went to my cousin's house. I just woke up and I just drank a whole bottle of whiskey. In the if you think I went up there at 6, by 10 it was gone. I didn't even know. It was my wife that at the time who told me. She was screwing with me. Um, and that's when it just all came to a head, because she was just like, look, I can't do this anymore. Um, and I was like, yeah, kind of shocked, right? And when I tell people that, they're like, are you shocked, Paul? Because all the stuff that you were doing and what you put her through. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm not, I wasn't clocking all the things that I was doing. It's like I wasn't present in it all. And it's very easy to kind of brush it off and go, oh, well, nothing's wrong. We've had a little bit of a spat, but yeah, everything's back to normal. Because I look back at it now and I think, man, what were you doing? Do you know what I mean? You're coming home, you're cracking open a bottle, you're drinking that bottle. You're not even really watching TV. You're just drinking. I used to have a joke about I'm doing Harold shots. You're doing shots like that in your shot glass, and I'm buying stupid whiskey, and I'm blasting through a bottle in one night, man. It's insane. You know, I'm drinking the kind of whiskey that's gonna probably knock a horse out. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just getting up, about to go do shopping or whatever it may be. I was still, functioning, and that's what. As I said, I think that's the problem. I never had anything that would make me go, oh wait, you've like hangovers. Do you know what I mean? I didn't get hangovers. That's. I used to laugh about it all. You know what I mean? But I wish I do. I wish I did, because I probably would have curled up in a ball and thought, I'm not doing that again. But because I never got that, I just continued. Um, but yeah, it just all sort of come to a head, and she was like, I'm done with this. I can't do it anymore. She put a lot of thought into it, and then she was like, no, I can't. And that's why I say, like, listen, it had to hit rock bottom for me. So which I did. So um, yeah, it was the 1st of January. Got super wasted, and then yeah, that's the last time. I got up on the 2nd of January, and I'm like, I'm done with this. Didn't know what to do. Um, yeah, yeah. Sorry, bear with me. I'm just kind of,
It's all right, Paul.
it's like, I didn't know what to do. I was, state of shock, and the problem is, what would I normally have done? I'd get a drink. You know what I mean? That will fix the problem. Um, so I reached out to a couple of family and friends. Spoke to my boss, who also is my friend, and he told me about a guy called Lewis. He said, give him a call. He deals with people who got addictions. So I called Lewis, had a brief chat with him, and he was like, look, just come down to, we got this running group that we do. We've just started up again. We all meet down at the, hold on, I've got to get this right. Sorry, mate.
It's all right, Paul. No problem.
It's BNU. It's the Buckinghamshire New University. So we go down there and meet up, and I've gone in there. This is what I mean. I did a speech a while ago about this, and it was like, I've gone in there. I haven't drunk for 7 days, right? So my anxiety is up here, and I've got all these voices in my head. I've walked in, there's people dotted about, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, and basically the only thing to do is say hello, right? But already I'm like, don't want to make eye contact with people. And Lewis comes bounding in, and he's like, yeah, come with me. I'm like, right, okay, so let's just go and get a drink, get a coffee. And I'm like, man, I'm super anxious. So he's like, so am I. And I'm like, well, you're supposed to be running this thing, man. I can't help you. So then, me being me, what do I go and do? I go and get a double espresso shot, which is not the thing to do when you're anxious. So I've gone and done that, and they do a like induction with you about running and way to eat, and we would take in measurements, even BMI, which I declined because that's never right anyway, regardless. And that was kind of the start of my journey, really. I knew I needed to go to AA, but I'd never done anything like that before. So, you've got to think, I've been drinking heavily, like 34 years. Talking Tennant Special Brew, not that I want to do any advertisements, but I'm just saying, I'm drinking all these hardcore stuff, right? And I went through these dips and waves, different types of alcohol. I remember saying to myself, well, I can drink red wine, right? Because that's good for your heart, and I've got like high blood pressure. And this is what I'm saying, right? Your addictions and mad things that it tells you. So then I'm blasting through red wine, and finally, it was whiskey. That was the one that I was always constantly drinking, like bottles at the weekend, like it was nothing. And when I talk about bottles, I was still going out as well. So I was going out and I was drinking, or I was going around to my friends and I'd be drinking, and then I'm going home and I'm opening the bottle again. So it was the madness that got hold of me. But when I went to the running group, I then knew I was going to go to AA. So I was going to AA on a Saturday. I was going running on the Monday. Then I started speaking to someone in the group, and they said to me, "Oh, well, have you tried NA?" So I go to NA as well now. So I've got a mix of both. But my running group is a massive part of my sobriety, because for me, it's changed a massive amount in me, and it's given me a purpose. It's given me more confidence, and I've made a lot of really, really, really good friends for life in that group. And I get inspiration from people in the group, and people that probably don't think that they are actually inspiring me. They do. I get a lot of advice from people in the group, because this group has got people who've got addictions and people who haven't. With people with mental health issues. But we're all there for each other, and it helps me to be where I am now, because I'm, well, like you said, like I started at the beginning. I'm 6 months without a drink. I don't get the cravings anymore. I and it's because of the people in the group that helped me. Do you know what I mean? I realized that you have to go through life, and you have to deal with your highs and your lows. And for me, I realized with my addiction, I wasn't addicted to the taste, or the feelings. I used to say I want to get wavy, but I realized it was dealing with the feelings that were coming in that I didn't want to deal with. Do you know what I mean? Whether it be love, hate, and anything else in between. And I kind of recently realized that, because I had something that happened to me that was kind of like just out of the blue. I didn't expect it to happen. And for that, before that happened, I was just on this wave that was just flying high. Do you know what I mean? Nothing was bothering me. My resilience was like, you could do anything to me. It wasn't going to bother me. And then this thing's happened, and I was like, damn, you know. But the good thing was, there was a little voice in my head saying, well, man, you know what you would normally do, right? Have a drink. And then I was like, I did wrestle with myself, but then I reached out to people in the group, and I had a chat with a couple of people, and then I kind of put everything into perspective, and I was like, actually, do you know what? Things happen, and you have to deal with that. You can't just take the good, you have to take the bad. Then you put them both together, and then you come up with something that might not necessarily be what you like, but you can get through it. And that's what it's all about: being a grown up and being able to deal with your feelings. And that's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's not easy, because we all want the good feelings and we all want the nice stuff. And but I recognise that I have to take the bad to get to where I am. And I'm happy with that, and I'm good with me, man. You know what I mean? Like I get up in the mornings and I do a serenity prayer every morning, and I thank God for where I am right now, because I was a real heavy drinker, and I could have been in a worse way than I am now. There's people in a worse way than I am, so I have to take that in life and realize that I am blessed. You know. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much the story of Paul Harold.
Paul, that is absolutely amazing, and just the confidence that you have just to come on today and just to be able to share about your story. And you started getting emotional, I started getting emotional, just because I really see, when people share a story that they really have hit their rock bottom, um, and you are retelling that story, but in the place that you are today, you can tell that you are just so grateful
Yeah, man.
For what you've gone through and where you are, and the amount of support that you've had as well. So in regards to what you went through, so obviously there may be people that be maybe listening at home, and they just can't get it right all the time, Paul. They maybe keep slipping up. They may have gone through them times, well, where they were sitting there and they were pondering things and they were still doing the substances or drinking or whatever they're going through. What sort of encouragement would you give to someone that that is still probably in a struggle at the moment?
I mean, look, I can't I can't say that I've got the answers for anybody out there, but I would just say, listen, don't be on your own, and don't just isolate, because that's what addiction wants you to do. Wants you to be on your own, and wants you to think, well, that guy didn't call me, or that girl didn't call me. Normally they would have been there for me. You need to reach out, whether that means you go to a meeting, maybe you just go for a walk. You know what I mean? But go and find somebody that'll be there for you. Um, Most fellowships will be there for you. Someone will reach out and be there for you. If you can find, if you're blessed like me and you can find a running group like mine, then all day long someone will be there for you, mate. But all I can say to you is just keep coming back. That's the message that we share in the rooms. Um, and if you fall down, it doesn't mean you can't pick yourself up. We all fail. That's we have to fail to learn. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I can say.
Oh, that's amazing, Paul. And I think it's important as well. For anyone that's listening at home, to hear the journey of Paul. And I'm sure there probably would have been people on the sideline, Paul, that are going, "Oh, he's just not going to make it. He's just not going to change." And there's so many people that used to say the same thing about me, like looking at me going, "It's just Josh. He never going to change." Do you know what I mean? And
100%.
I've spoken to a lot of people that have all had the same experience, but I think it's so inspiring to maybe that somebody's listening at home that goes, "Do you know what? Even though I've had people around me that have said I'm never going to change, you can make a difference and change." Look at the positives that have been happening for you. The smile on your face, Paul, is amazing. When we spoke before, we were speaking in your workplace, and even how your workplace have been so understanding, and you've been open and honest about it. And look what's happened. There's been a positive thing that's happened out of that. And that's another thing as well. If somebody is going through a certain particular, addiction, or they are struggling with their mental health, there is people out there that understand. We just don't know how to verbally say it. We think we're the only people. But you stepped out and done something about that, Paul. And look how it's been. You spoke to me in work, and even people in work are fascinated by your story as well, aren't they?
Yeah, man. It's like I got people that are in my office that know what's going on, and they got a lot of respect and time for me. It was hard for me to go in and admit it. It was very, very hard. A lot of people, man. Listen, I remember telling my mum, uh, she still don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, bless her. Like my mum's 78. You know what I mean? And when I told her, she was just like, she don't get it. I told my boss, and I told my work colleagues. That was very hard. But on the other side of that, it was like just dropping this massive armor that I thought was alcohol. I just dropped it, and this massive weight that come off me, and there's a mutual respect from everybody now. I'm not walking around being all paranoid and thinking this guy at work don't like me, blah 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 blah. Maybe it's just a general thing that's happened, and I'm not overthinking stuff anymore. So yeah, I think for me the honesty was the biggest thing for me, really, and being present. That's just goes without saying, man. I love that. I love that right now.
And that's amazing, isn't it? Being present in the moment, being
Yeah,
able to enjoy things now and remember things as well, being able
yeah,
to go to bed and wake up and be like, "Oh, I remembered yesterday."
yeah. Or really, it's waking up and not thinking, oh damn, is that what I done? You know what I mean? Like I was saying to my friend the other day, man. You know what? It's like music. I always loved music, right? But right now, I'm just on another level with music. I love listening to acoustic stuff now. It's the strings and pianos and someone with a beautiful voice. It just gets me. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just looking out the window and seeing the trees, the beautiful. Where I live, I took it for granted for so many years, man. And then it's like it's a beautiful thing, and that's why I know I'm blessed. You know what I mean?
Come on, definitely. And you just said then, yeah, I was just about to ask you. So, in regards to, do you have like any sort of routine? So you've said about, music's quite your thing, and I'm hearing that quite a lot from a lot of people that you know, people listen to music because it just brings them that comfort. Or, you know, do you have like a sort of routine that you have for your recovery, like for your journey? How do you go on throughout your day? Say, for example, when you're not at work and keeping busy, what is it that helps you in your
Well,
to
for me,
maintain your sobriety?
it's the running really, you know. So um, I basically with the group we do couch to 5K, and we spur people on to come in. We do it from start to finish, and we end with a race. I've literally got a race tomorrow, and yeah, looking forward to that. But in between that, I tend to just run for myself. I'll do a 10K run, which I listen, man. I'm gonna tell you this now. I never thought in a million years I would be doing 10K, and there's people in the running group that can vouch that I was quite overweight when I walked through the door. But I've lost, wow, probably 2.5 stone in 6 months. And running 10K, which I never thought I would do. I'll be honest with you, I haven't really told many people, but when I run my first 10K, I was really emotional about it. Started welling up because I just didn't think that was something that I was ever going to do. And whilst running it, there was a lot of things going through my head about my past. Do you know what I mean? All the drinking and stuff that I was doing in between, and the bad mistakes that I made, um, and the time that I probably wasted. But um, you just got to look forward. You can't look back. I look at it like I can remember the stuff I've done. I'm not going to just walk away from it all. But I'm not going to beat myself up about it either. I just have to learn from my mistakes. But yeah, for me, it's running. I do a few weights in the gym and stuff like that. It just helps me to focus really. I would say I read, but I'll be lying. I don't.
Do you know what? I'd rather you be honest, man.
I listen to a lot of audiobooks, to do with drinking and sobriety and stuff like that. I mean, I do need to start doing the steps. It's just something that I just haven't found a sponsor yet, if I'm honest. You just got to find someone that you connect with. And the funny thing is, I've got a lot of people that I connect with, but there's a lot of them that don't do sponsorship and stuff. So I just, just got to wait till I find the right person. So I'm just putting that ad out there, right?
Definitely, man, definitely. And I'm sure someone might go, oh, I might be able to sponsor him. Guys, obviously, like what Paul said, he's part of a fellowship, he's part of a group that many of you probably have heard of, but obviously we like to use it as like a 12-step program. And there is lots of different options out there under the 12-step program umbrella. And like Paul said, it's been a real great support. And it's been that place where you can talk and feel like you don't have to be judged. But also Paul found, an amazing running group called Wellness Warriors. And I think it's phenomenal what they have created, and seeing the top on you right now, it's amazing. You're advertising it. And a big shout out to, is it Charmaine? That's
Hey,
Charmaine, that heads up
Charmaine
the
and Lewis.
Wellness Warriors, Charmaine and Lewis. And,
Yeah.
we really appreciate people like that because, they're able to give people a place to be them and to just be open and be real and not feel like they've got to be judged either. So, yes, there is, the 12-step program, but then there's amazing groups like this with Wellness Warriors. And I definitely want to take my hat off to them guys, because you've created such a lovely guy, Paul, and he has got a phenomenal story, and he's going to be such a blessing to so many other people, Paul. Paul, if there was something that you would want to say to somebody that goes, I want a bit of that, so like a Paul word, what would you say it would be like? What little bit of encouragement you'd like to give to someone right now?
Oh man, you put me on the spot. Wow. I don't know. Just be patient with yourself, man. Patience. It all will come in time. I remember walking into an NNA meeting, and a couple of the guys were getting their key rings, and I remember thinking, I want that. I want that. And I was kind of like, your first month, and you see someone 6 months. You know, not even that far, man. It's like your first month, your second month, your third month, and it's like, you know. But where I got to, you know, after my third month, was like, you know what? It's not about the time. It's about, I know it's cliche, but it's the journey. Do you know what I mean? So just give yourself patience, and you'll get there. You know, I'm gonna say it. I've been saying it. I keep saying it. I'm just blessed. I truly am. The people that I've met on this journey so far, including yourself, um, inspirational, you know, and it's made me the man I am today. So yeah, I'm blessed, man.
That's awesome, Paul. Paul is blessed today, and it's been absolutely amazing, Paul, that you have come on today. And I really, really do want to encourage you, you know, whilst you're on my podcast, is you're an amazing gentleman. And there's going to be so many other men out there that are going to be so encouraged, and they're going to be blessed. You know, they want to feel that bit of blessing that you're feeling right now. And if somebody's at home that's listening to this and they want a bit of this wellness warrior, because I tell you something, when I first spoke to Paul and he was explaining about wellness warriors, I was like, I felt like I was there. I felt like I was there with him. Seeing the content that Wellness Warriors are putting out on their Instagram page is absolutely phenomenal. And seeing the lives that are being transformed through the amazing work of Charmaine and Lewis is absolutely amazing, you know, and they're giving back. And that's what it's about, right? So whoever's listening, definitely give them a follow, Wellness Warriors on Instagram. Check them out. Whereabouts is it, Paul, if anybody would like to join?
So we are in High Wycombe, Buckinghamshire. We normally meet at Bucks New University. But yeah, there's we have got a website. Or listen, if people want to reach out to me on my TikTok, I'm Rock Bottom Runner. So if you want to reach out to me on that and you want to come and join the Wellness Warriors, then feel free.
That is awesome, Paul. Paul, again, thank you so much for today, for coming on to my show, for sharing your story of strength and hope. You've been such a blessing to me, and you would definitely be a blessing to other people today. So thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you for giving me the opportunity.
No problem. You take care.